Hey, welcome back. It has been a couple weeks. I took some time off after Christmas because I realized although I took 5 weeks off earlier last year when I had my son, those 5 weeks were very hormonal. They were very, although I was enjoying myself, learning how to become a mother, they were still very stress driven and scary because I had no clue what I was doing. So fast forward, he is now 10 months old and he is at such a fun, cute age. I was just like, I kind of want to take a little bit of time off to spend with him before he turns 1. It's crazy that he is going to be a year old. So that's where I've been, just hanging out, spending time with family. So initially I had planned to have this up like the first week of January, so I'm running a little bit behind, but we're here, better late than never. And if you missed my best in 2021 drugstore, I have already posted that. So I compiled all of my favorites in the drugstore category from last year. But now we're moving on to high-end. And I'm doing this the same way I did my drugstore video. This is not necessarily going to be, repeats of products that I've mentioned in the past. If you know me, if you know my channel, then you know my favorite products. These products, a lot of them are newer. They came out last year or they were new discoveries for me. So that's what we're focusing on. And I think I'm going to start out with Complexion like I generally do. It's a larger category for me because it is one of my favorites. So let's start out with the first, I feel like this was my first Complexion product that I fell in love with last year. I believe it was a new release from 2021. And if you missed my video on this, it was one of my higher viewed videos last year, I remember, but I'll try to link it down below. It's the Estee Lauder Double Wear Sheer Foundation. So this is, like the name says, a sheer version of the original Double Wear. What I loved about this is that it had the longevity of Double Wear, but it was so sheer and skin-like on my skin. So I am wearing it today, and I think the way I'm wearing it today is a perfect example of how you can kind of build it up. You can go from very skin-like, super sheer, to a little bit more, done up. I don't want to say a little bit more coverage because I feel like the coverage on this is pretty standard. You're going to get a light coverage with it, but you can play around with it, add concealer, you can layer things on top of it, and it's still going to look really beautiful and skin-like. So this was definitely a top contender for me last year. I'm actually running pretty low on this. It feels like I'm probably about to the last third of it. Coming in at the end of the year, I think this launched in October. This was Lisa Eldridge's Seamless Skin Foundation. I love this formula. I think it is beautiful. I think it is one of those formulas that you have to play around with and figure out how it wears best on your skin because it definitely runs in the satin category, and I would say satin leaning a little bit more towards the matte category. So if I apply this without any type of hydration underneath, it's definitely going to fall or appear a little bit more flat on my skin. However, I generally will apply a pretty glowy moisturizer or moisturizer SPF combo underneath, and it just looks divine and lovely on my skin. So I really appreciate this formula because I think it's versatile for all skin types. You can tell she really worked with this so it can be manipulated. If you are oily, you could definitely wear something mattifying underneath and on top and get more of a matte finish. If you're like me and you prefer something that's a little bit more natural to dewy, layer up your skincare underneath, layer up your hydration underneath, and add a bit of highlighter on top for a glowy look. So I think it can be manipulated very easily. And overall, I just found it looks so beautiful on my skin. And the match that I got, which I'm number 7, it was just spot on. So I put it on my skin and it was just totally undetectable. So this was a real winner for me. It came in, late in the game, but definitely worth the mention. My Merit Perfecting Complexion Stick, I remember I bought this right before I had Max. I just invested some in Merit because I had been seeing a lot about the brand, and fast forward, I worked with them a couple times this year, and I have just thoroughly enjoyed almost every single product I have tried from them, and this being one of them. This is my second complexion stick of the year, and anytime I travel, I love taking this. It's very travel friendly. This is a formula that is definitely for those of you who are kind of no makeup people. You feel like you need something maybe to touch up with throughout the day or something on the go. This is a great formula because you can layer it and it's not going to look crepey or cakey or look like simply you have added multiple layers throughout the day. It's also very multi-purpose. You could use it as a concealer as well if you like concealer sticks. It's a nice creamy formula. I will say that again, this kind of falls in the satin category. It's not a dewy complexion stick and it's not a matte complexion stick. So I do like to hydrate really well when I apply this, so I have a fresh face, glowy look. If I were to just apply this with really nothing on my skin, it's gonna fall a little bit more on the satin side. Healthy, beautiful, no makeup look. If you're just someone that does not want to fuss with a pump, with a brush, that kind of thing, this is literally applied to the areas you need, blend out with your fingers, or, hold on, I literally almost forgot to bring this over here, and it was a part of my lineup. So the Merit, this is, I think it's number 28. It's literally just their standard brush. This was my brush this year. I use this for everything. I mean, it is one of those good quality investment brushes that can just do it all. I mean, we're talking literally from foundation to blush to bronzer to powder, everything this brush can do for your face, and it's wonderful quality. It's super soft and dense. So yeah, these two together, winner combo. And just overall, you're gonna see another Merit product. A lot of you are probably gonna guess what it is in this video later on, but just so pleased with this brand overall. Obviously, Luminous Silk, this was again really high up there in my most worn foundations of the year. I have a little mini bottle again that I like to travel with. It just depends on where I'm going. If I'm going, you know, back home and I'm just gonna have like a relaxed weekend, generally I'll just tend to bring my Merit complexion stick for a really natural look. But if I'm going somewhere for anything else really, and I want something that I'm confident I can get a sheer to medium coverage with, it's probably gonna be Luminous Silk because it is, again, very versatile. That's the name of the game in my foundations. I like to have choices, options with them, and this just never lets me down. It is beautiful on the skin. It can be worn light coverage to medium coverage. It's kind of one of those that I always just talk about being the it foundation. For anything that you can think of, this has you covered. Okay, so this one's gonna be random because I think I've only used it in one video. And again, it kind of came in late in the game for me, around probably October, I wanna say. But I really like it and I think it's worth a mention, and it's the Beautyblender Bounce Skin Tint. So I thought this was going to be a really sheer product, something that, you know, I kind of had the feeling I was just going to try it just to say that I tried it, and it wasn't really going to be a winner for me. However, it's quite the opposite. It has a good amount of coverage. I would say solid medium coverage on this, and the formula to me is kind of reminiscent to Luminous Silk. It's definitely thinner, more fluid-like, but it has a beautiful satin finish on the skin. I could definitely see this working for a lot of skin types. Maybe not if you're really oily, just because the texture is so thin and runny. I feel like you might want something with a little bit more grip to it, but it sat really nicely on my skin, and I was just very pleased and surprised with the amount of coverage that it gave. I think it's definitely a step up from, I can't remember what their last foundation was. I thought it had Bounce in the name, but maybe not. It was the one that you pushed and it kind of came out. The top part was like a little palette. I can't think of what that one was called. That was a little too matte for me. And it always killed me because I watched Hindash use it in a lot of his videos with his models and it looked seamless, gorgeous, flawless. But it did not look that way on me. So couldn't really work my magic like he can, but this was a yes. I really enjoyed this. I wish I had more opportunity to use it in videos before the end of the year was up, but I didn't. But I got it last year. It was new release and I think that it deserves a spot. This is not new, but I know people are gonna be like, what about a powder? What about, you know, powder? This is the only powder I feel like I used last year and it's pretty obvious. I just reordered another with the new foundation launch. So this is of course Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Powder. As you can tell, like, I mean, I'm pretty sure I got this at the beginning of last year and it's lasted that long. A little goes a long way. But just a heads up, the new Charlotte Tilbury foundation that just launched, it comes in tomorrow. I've already ordered it. We're gonna test it out. I'm gonna talk about it. So look forward to that. But I did reorder my powder with that foundation because yeah, this one's, I mean, honestly, this one's probably gonna last me a couple more months, but I like to have backups of my Charlotte Tilbury products. So this was the powder for me. It is finely milled. You cannot see it on your skin. It sets your makeup in place, but still allows your natural skin to show through. So this is the only powder that I have to mention. I always recommend, if you can, test out the mini first, see how you like it, and go from there. 3 concealer formulas to talk about. The first is the Kosas Revealer Concealer. So I do love my Kosas Skin Tint Oil. I don't feel like I wore it enough last year to where I wanted to put it in this video, but this concealer I reordered last year. So this was one that I really enjoyed using. Ultra creamy. Like, this is the creamiest concealer I probably have in my collection, and it provides a punch as far as coverage goes. And normally I'm not into like high coverage concealers, but this is so creamy and smooth that it just works, and it's very versatile again. Okay, I'm gonna try to stop saying versatile, but it is, and that's why I like a lot of these products. So I've worn this as foundation a few times because it does provide so much coverage. I just think it's such a good formula, really unique formula, really beautiful. It can conceal whatever you need it to conceal, but still look natural, healthy, flawless. Obviously, Armani Luminous Silk. This again is, sometimes I joke and I say it's literally probably just the foundation in a smaller tube because it is very similar. Natural coverage, borderline somewhere in between like a light to medium coverage. It doesn't really go overboard, not as much coverage as that Kosas concealer for sure, but it's still, it conceals what I need, which is just a little bit of redness, you know, around the cheeks, a little bit of brightness underneath my eye. And I generally, if I am going for more of a medium full coverage look, I'll generally use this alongside my Luminous Silk Foundation, and it's the perfect combo. But if you are a concealer fiend, you like trying new concealers and you've never tried this one, it's pretty. Skin-like, natural, radiant finish. No complaints. All right, I said I was gonna do it and I did. So may I present to you the full size Dior Forever Skin Concealer. If you know, you know, I have been basically scamming off a tiny mini sample that I got from Sephora for the past 2 years of this concealer. And somehow that little tube has managed to last me for probably almost 2 years. And in every video I was like, I'm not gonna show you this stupid sample anymore. I'm going to buy the real thing. Finally it happened. I got it during one of the last Sephora sales, and yeah, I'm glad I did. Still no regrets on this. I actually ended up getting a lighter color. I was using the shade 1N. It would still work for me right now. It would probably be borderline just running maybe a little bit too dark. for my complexion right now. So I went ahead and I just got 0 in, which is the lightest color. And that's unfortunate because it's kind of like the perfect shade for me. It's maybe like half a shade lighter than my skin tone. So I just fear if you're really, really fair, there may not be a choice in this concealer because I just feel like Dior in general runs dark, like with that face and body foundation that they came out with. Really, that ran like super dark. So I'm generally in like the 0 to 1 category. That's how they run their foundations and concealers. So keep that in mind if you are similar to my skin tone. I generally don't go past a 1 in their products. Okay, I'm going to take things a little sideways and talk about a few skincare and hair care things, which I generally don't do, but it's a 2021 end of the year high-end roundup. And these were 2 brands that I just consistently use this year and that I saw really great results with. So the first is Vegamour. I started using their lash serum back a couple months after I had Max, and it made such a difference in my lashes that I really felt like I didn't even need to use it anymore. And then I started having postpartum hair loss with my actual hair. And I tried another brand, I think it's the Bondi Boost. Yeah, I tried Bondi Boost, and I just didn't see much of a difference with it. So I kept eyeing Vegamour for their actual hair care system, not just the lash serum that I was using. And I lucked out and they actually reached out to me last year and asked if I wanted to try their stuff. And of course I was like, ding, ding, yes. So I have been using the shampoo and conditioner, the scalp serum, and then a few of their other products for like, I want to say it's been 4 months now. It's been a good solid 4 months. And within 1 month of, I'm going to talk about the 2 products I think that made the biggest difference. Within 1 month, I'll try to put my before and afters up, or you can go on my Instagram. I saw a huge difference in my postpartum hair loss. I couldn't even wear my hair up without there just being bald area after bald area. I mean, especially up here in the front. So the shampoo and conditioner, love the smell. There's something about it that's really nostalgic. It's citrusy, but it reminds me of my youth. It reminds me of something in the 90s that my mom had, I don't know what it is, but I love the smell of the shampoo and conditioner. However, I think the serum is what really helped with those areas that were balding, because I applied this specifically to those areas every single night before I went to bed, and that's where I saw the regrowth. So I've already reordered the serum. They actually have an advanced formula that I have reordered to try. This is like their original regrowth system, but they have an advanced one, and I reordered the shampoo and conditioner and the hair serum. So I will report back on that. But as far as the original line goes, chef's kiss. I've been loving it. Okay, I don't want this video to be, 45 minutes long. So I'm not going to run you through product that I have used from Avene this year, but I talked about how I really needed to like revamp my skincare and get a full routine going. My skin was super dehydrated after having Max. Even though I was like gulping down water because I was breastfeeding, I just couldn't keep my skin hydrated enough. And I just went out on a whim and ordered a bunch of, basically a full skincare system from Avene. And it just like changed the game for me. I loved every single product that I tried. It was like almost instant cure overnight for the dry areas on my face. So I'm gonna list those products down below that really helped with my dryness. But I'm a lip balm fiend, and I just casually placed this on like one of my reorders, and it's their Cold Cream Nourishing Lip Balm. This is amazing. It is $14, so it's obviously a little bit more pricey than like my Lipsil, which I still live and die by. But this is one that I keep in my bathroom specifically. It's like my luxurious lip balm before I go to bed at night. And it's seriously so good that when I wake up in the morning, it's still there, like moisturizing my lips somehow. It's very lightly scented, not overwhelming. There's just something about it that's thick and luxurious, and it works. It just, my lips are soft all day. And I realized once I started using this at night that I was not using my Lipsil as much during the day. So really good lip balm investment. Just Avene overall this year has been like a game changer for me. But I'm going to list some of my favorite skincare products of the year down below. It's just not my area of expertise, but if you're interested, they'll be down below. Okay, let's get into probably my second favorite category: blush, bronzer, highlighter, the accentuating makeup that goes along with complexion. And I think it's no secret, we'll start out with cream blush. These were, not love hate, but that's how I'm going to describe it because I just can't think of anything else off the top of my head. I love these so much that they were pretty much like exclusively the only cream blushes I used this year, which really hindered my experience in testing and trying other brands' cream blushes. But I eventually collected every single color except for one. I don't have one color in this formula, but it's gonna be mine soon just so I can say I have every single color. But I'm sure you guessed it, Merit Flush Balms. I just think these are so easy to apply. The shades are so traditional and flattering, and they have a couple of fun colors. They have a shade called Nude that's a nice like wine burgundy tone, but you know, if you know, you know, Terracotta. Like Terracotta is where it's at. Look how flat this one is. Let me get a new one. So yeah, I don't know if you can tell, this is the difference in, this is one of my latest shades. It's called Cheeky, it's the pink, and my Terracotta is basically flat. It's no longer dome shaped. That's how much I used this shade this year. This is like my shade. Merit just needs to rename this shade Shelby. It absolutely does not go along with the rest of the names, but it is me hands down in a blush color. Like if I were to design a blush color, this is probably how it's going to turn out. And I just love it. I think it's so unique. In the sense that it works kind of as a blush bronzer for me, especially when I'm really fair. But just overall, I can't exactly put into words why I like this formula so much, other than it being so natural, dewy, healthy looking on the skin. Packaging also has a lot to do with it. I love their packaging. Again, travel friendly and very easy to apply. Yeah, these were hands down most used blushes for me of 2021. Terracotta has to be my favorite, probably Beverly Hills next, and then Cheeky, which is like their classic pink tone shade. The only one I do not own is a Raspberry Beret. I really want it, but they're sold out. They're sold out of that one a lot. So yeah, I have all the colors except for Raspberry Beret, and I can just accurately say they are stunning. I was really impressed with Rare Beauty's cream blush formula. I felt like I talked about this one a lot last year, specifically the matte ones. They're super soft and like blurring on the skin. So the shade I have is Bliss, and it's a nice, really light peachy pink tone. But I also really liked her highlighter. I have it in the shade Transcend, kind of like this really pretty rose gold tone. This is one that I felt was pretty high impact, like high intensity, but it didn't look super glittery on the cheeks. It still gave kind of like natural Hollywood girl vibes. You know what I mean? You could tell it was there, but it looked flattering. So really impressed with these two formulas. I saw Rare came out with some new shades recently in the cream blushes. I don't think they're the matte formula though. So what do you think? Should we try? Should we just hold off? 3 bronzers to talk about. I can't tell if my hair looks good or if I look like a Manson cult follower right now. So that's why I keep messing with it. Okay, let's move on. This is the bronzer I definitely use the most in 2021, just as much, if not more, than the Merit cream blushes. And it's the Persona multi-stick in the shade Sahara. So 3 shades in the multi-sticks. Sahara is the darker one, or it's either the mid-tone or the darkest. I want to say it's the mid-tone shade, but it looks very dark for my complexion. in the stick, and it is if you're not careful, but I use a really small amount and I just feel like it's the perfect neutral bronzer tone for me. The shade Dune, which is the lightest color, it's a little too warm for my preference. It can definitely be a little too yellow orange on my skin tone, so that's why I like this one so much. It runs a little bit more neutral to cool, and I just love how, one, pigmented this is, two, how creamy, and three, how easy it is to apply, because despite being really dark for my complexion, it still blends out like a dream. So yeah, a little goes a long way with this. I mean, I feel like this is gonna last me forever. I have been using this since it came out. I want to say it came out maybe in like April of last year, so I've been using it for a really long time, and I feel like I have not put a dent in it. But yeah, Persona Multi-Stick, most used bronzer for sure. New find for me. I picked this up during the Sephora sale, and I think it's a lovely, unique product. It's the Tower 28 Bronzino Cream Bronzer, and this borderlines a cream bronzer and highlighter. It really depends on which shade you buy. This is, again, a product that I really went up in shade on. The shade that I got, which is called West Coast, I think was described for deeper complexions. So if you have a deeper skin tone, this is probably going to show up more as like a glossy highlight on you. On me, of course, it definitely comes off as a bronzer, and I love the tone. It is it's definitely warm, but it's not orangey warm, if that makes sense. It's kind of following or straddling the line between warm and neutral, and it's just a really unique formula. If you're someone who wears full coverage and you like cream products, I don't know how well this would blend with a higher coverage foundation, because it definitely has a lot of emollients to it. Almost like the feeling of a balm with a little bit of pigment added. So you're going to notice that balm texture before you do the pigment, and it's definitely a bronzer that runs a little bit more on the sheer side. So what I'm trying to say is this would work best with something like a skin tint, say Slip Skin Tint, the Tower 28 Tinted Moisturizer, something that just has a light coverage to it. But I think it's really unique. I think it's pretty, it's unique. I think you can play around with the different shades that they have to get different looks. And if you wanted something that ran a little bit more like a highlighter for your skin, just go down in shade. So yeah, Tower 28 Bronzino, I think it's a really cool product, and I've been enjoying it. Armani A-Line Contour. I, again, have been using this for a little over a year now, and I have it in the shade 21. It's this perfect, cool, neutral tone. This, again, is going to be for my no makeup vibes people out there. If you find that you struggle with applying cream or liquid bronzer, or you want something that runs definitely more on the cooler side, this is it. Travel friendly, easy to apply, really sheer, and you can build up the amount that you want. That's another reason I really like this. And I also think that the tone is perfect, especially if you do have a lighter complexion like me and you struggle to find something that doesn't run too orange or too yellow. Is it a little pricier than other bronzers? Yes, but I think paired with, if you already have Luminous Silk, this is like beautiful paired on top. Definitely one of my most used eyeshadows of 2021. I love this color. It is Charlotte Tilbury's Eyes to Mesmerize in the shade Rose Gold. It's just a true rose gold shade. I feel like anytime I buy something that's labeled rose gold, it's either gold or it's really pink. You know what I mean? Like there's no mix of the two. And this is just stunning. Especially, again, if you are more fair complected and you find that a lot of the times the rose gold stuff looks really red or ultra pink on you, this is not. It's such a light hint of pink with a bit of gold mixed in, and I just think it's beautiful. Really makes my eyes pop, especially paired with the second eye product I'm gonna talk. Well, this is an eye and face product, but again, Charlotte Tilbury. It's the Instant Look of Love in a palette, and this is the pretty blushed tone. So she came out with these, I think, last year, and this is the lighter, I think, lighter complected one. I have used this all year, like ever since I got it. I don't remember when I got it. I feel like it was mid-year, but as you can tell, I've kind of done a number on the shimmery shade right here. That shade looks perfect with this. The brown in here really complements rose gold. It makes it pop even more. And honestly, I've used the face products more than I have in like her previous face palettes that I have. So you get the Film Star. I think this is the same bronzer that's in the Film Star Glow palette. And then of course a highlighter, a blush, and then they did something different with these and they put her Airbrush Flawless powder in here. So I think that's a good opportunity to try that particular powder if you have not, and also get a really beautiful, stunning palette as well. So these are pricey. I always recommend waiting to buy these when the sale comes around or when Charlotte Tilbury does a sale. But I have to say, I'm always pleased with mine, and this one has definitely been my most used. So cream eyeshadow wise this year, I really dove into my Beauty Pie cream eyeshadows because I just thought they were so similar to all of my high-end cream eyeshadows that I had to keep trying more. But I also really did a lot of purchasing and trying from the Bobbi Brown Longwear Cream Shadow line because I had used shades from that line before, but definitely not as extensive as my Laura Mercier collection. So I really prefer Bobbi Brown's matte cream shadows over the Laura Mercier matte cream shadows. I feel like Bobbi Brown has a higher selection in the matte colors, a larger combination of matte colors, where I feel like Laura Mercier exceeds in the shimmers and the real high shine, glittery, shimmery colors in their cream eyeshadow sticks. So a few of my most used shades from Bobbi Brown this year were the matte ones. So I really love the shade Shore. That was a new color that came out. I am wearing it on my eyes right now, which you probably can't tell because I used it as more of a base. Stone was one I love, this beautiful like mushroom gray tone. And then Bark. Bark's very similar to Cocoa from Laura Mercier. A little bit more on the neutral side. Cocoa does run kind of more on the warm brown side. Bark runs a little bit more neutral. I just think you can't go wrong with any of the Bobbi Brown matte shadow shades. Malted Pink, Cinnamon, Truffle. They're just all really gorgeous, smooth, creamy eyeshadows. And if you especially feel like you have more mature lids, these just give such a smooth appearance on the eyelids. So yeah. Shout out to my Bobbi Brown cream shadow sticks, especially the matte formulas. I cannot wait to get my hands on a few more colors in these eyeshadows I'm about to talk about. Again, discovered these coming in later in the year, but I'm just amazed and blown away with them. I think they're beautiful. I'm wearing one on my eye right now. It's the Kaja Moon Crystals. I'm wearing the shade, I think it's 01 Goddess on my eye right now. It's kind of like a mix between a gold with a little bit of like rose thrown in there. Not a ton, but it's not just like a standard gold. It has like a peachy pink undertone to it. These are beautiful. I think that especially this color, it's called Mystical, this purple. Oh, it is very pretty. And I have 3 shades in these so far, and none of them have disappointed me. I feel like they're hidden gems. Nobody has talked about these. I certainly did not know about them until I just started browsing the Kaja section, because there are a few things from Kaja that I'm like, I can get down with, and I just saw them, ordered them on a whim, really pleased. And they have some super cool colors that I think could make really interesting eye looks. So if you've not checked those out, keep them on your radar. 2 brow products that I just used consistently all year. The first, I think we know, Charlotte Tilbury Legendary Brows. This is just a wonderful brow product. It's got the micro spoolie on it, very easy to get in there and fill in sparse areas. It's not too wet, it's not too dry. It does have some fibers that it adds in to make your brows look fuller. I mean, I don't think I picked up a brow pencil or anything to fill in my brows in 2021. It was all about brow gels for me, and I looked for ones that can do it all, and this is one of those formulas. Second formula, the Persona Swipe Up Brow Gel. Really surprised by these. These run a little bit more on the wet side, but not in a sense that throws me off. If anything, I think that they last a bit longer than the Charlotte Tilbury. The Charlotte Tilbury one is like, it's basically empty. And this was my second purchase. I bought 2 of these in 2021. So this one's almost out. So that tells you how much I used it. Same thing for Persona. They were kind enough to send me another one. So this is warm brown. I was using blonde, but I darkened my hair up a bit. And so warm brown is a perfect match for me. But again, fills in, don't have to do any extra work, lasts all day, super easy to apply. So yeah, these both make the cut for me, and they were, if I wasn't using the Charlotte Tilbury, I was using my Persona. Bobbi Brown Art Sticks were a really fun find for me in 2021. Again, these, I feel like I collected almost every shade in these products. They're multi-use products. You can use them on your lips and your cheeks. Not sure if you're supposed to use them on your eyes, but definitely on your lips and cheeks, which is what I use them for. I'm using the shade Bear on my lips today, and I have a little bit on my cheeks as well, on top of Beverly Hills from Merit. But I just love these. They're artsy, they're fun to use. They kind of, obviously they have like this chubby stick appearance, and they do come with a jumbo sharpener so you can keep them sharpened. But I just love products that I can use for both my lips and my cheeks, and I think these come in some really unique colors. Again, travel friendly, just easy to use, and I'm just a fan of Bobbi Brown in general. These did not disappoint. The shade Rose Brown, I think, that's a really pretty color. It gives off unique vibes to me, and I would highly recommend checking that one out if you're interested in these. But I mean, there's pinks, there's reds, there's neutrals, in between shades. They're just fun and super pretty. Okay, I hate to say this, but, and this is shocking coming from me, I don't have a ton of lip products to talk about. I have 3. They're all gloss formulas. I don't know. I don't know if I just did not investigate lip products a lot this year, what the deal was. I feel like I was just hyper focused on lip liner. A lot of days I would just wear my lip liner and that's it. I do have 3 lip glosses that I wanted to mention. The first being the Fenty Glow Cream version. This came out, I want to say in early spring, like maybe even March or February of last year. And I just remember this making me feel just so pretty and elegant when I applied it. I wore this a lot after I had Max and was trying to apply makeup every single day just to feel, you know, like I didn't just have a baby and was in like full-on recovery mode. But this was such a pretty formula. Still use it frequently. I think the color works for all skin tones, and it's just, I'm a fan of the Fenty glosses in general. So this was just a nice little addition. Secondly is Merit Shade Slick, and I like the Shade Slicks. I will say they're lip oils. Like, they definitely have some really fun, interesting colors, but they don't have like a super long lasting power. So I do want to caution you on that. But I wanted to mention this color because I think it's really unique and really pretty. If you missed my really short, easy holiday makeup look, this is the lip color I used in it, but it's the Shade Slick and Cara Cara. Lovely mix of like this burnt orange with a touch of red. It's not going to look red on your lips. If anything, it runs into like the coral orange category, but it's just such a unique and fun color, and you can wear it really sheer or you can build it up. It does give the lips more of a glossy finish, but I don't have a shade in my collection like this, and it's so pretty. I love it. This was a surprising winner for me this year because I've owned this for a couple of years, and it's just, you look at it And it doesn't even look like a me shade, but I love it. I have used it so much this year, and it is a mini size, but I think you can see like the gap that I have in it right here. It's the Pat McGrath Lust Gloss in the shade Pale Fire Nectar. Now look at this. This is a straight up Barbie sparkling pink. But I'm wearing it right now with my Bobbi Brown Bear art stick, and it just seems to add like this plumpness and this really pretty shine to the lips. You don't see the pink anywhere. It generally does not look pink on the lips, but it just has this like cosmic vibe to it that when you apply it to your lips, it just gives instant volume. It's such a pretty, I don't know, like a really wet finish to the lips, I think is what I like so much about it. But I really like the Pat McGrath gloss formulas. I have a few others, but this particular shade stayed on my makeup counter this year. So, I mean, I liked it. I think that's it. I know I've probably forgotten something. I forgot a couple things in my drugstore, but I will try to list them down below. I'm really excited. Having some time off really allowed me to like re-energize and kind of get some clarity on some videos that I want to do. So to give you a little sneak peek, I've got the Charlotte Tilbury foundation review coming up. I have found a lovely drugstore skin combination that I can't wait to share with you. That's coming up. Also, are we interested in Chanel Beauty at Ulta? I have not tried Chanel, and there are so many products that are iconic or that I've had my eye on for several years that I just have never purchased. So I have a bag of Chanel stuff in my Ulta bag if anyone's remotely interested. If not, then I'll just save it for TikTok. I like to do artsy fun stuff on TikTok. If you don't follow me there, I've been trying to post more on there. So yeah. Just a few things I've got lined up. I've got several more on my schedule, but off the top of my head, that's what I can think of. So hope you enjoyed seeing my high-end favorites this year. Let me know yours down below, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye.